I love this comment. You're totally right. We can all grow beyond this stage of know-it-allness, right? Like I know everything. But I think here for men, in order to do that, we have to tell ourselves the truth. And the truth is that our facade of I know that is actually based in fear. Like we are afraid. And there's no place for men in our current society to acknowledge that or even talk about it. I actually had this memory pop up in my head the other day. Our 8th grade teacher assigned us a brief essay to write about things we were afraid of. And I told him with full genuineness that I, an 8th grade boy, was afraid of nothing. He laughed at me, as he should have. Reality is, and this won't come as a surprise, as an 8th grade boy, I was afraid of nearly everything. It was easier for me to tell myself that I was afraid of nothing. But that 8th grade version of me, if I go back in time and ask myself what I was afraid of, I was afraid of getting less than an A in any subject, any class, anywhere. I was afraid of not coming in first place in the weekly mile run because my identity, even at 14, had already been tied up in performance. Further, at 14, I didn't get any physical comfort or affection anymore. The only places I received physical touch at all were in sports, where you had like physical contact. And actually at that stage, still at 14, my dad was still using physical discipline. So there was occasions in which he was so upset that he would use a belt. Now think about that. Think about somebody who thinks that they can only achieve love if they perform, and if they don't, they're going to be subject to physical pain, like violent punishment. And that fit directly into my idea of God. Somebody who would open the earth up to swallow you whole, or maybe have the community stone you and your family for making a mistake. Those stories seem very real to me, and people I looked up to said that they were very real. So I was getting a lot of bad information. Going back to that idea of like physical affection, man, I was so scared of the body changes I was going through at 14. At 14, I was starting to grow a little bit of peach fuzz, and I wanted to learn how to shave, but I was afraid to ask my dad how to do it. At 14, I started having acne and body hair, and I was ashamed of that. I was afraid to dress out for PE. I was afraid to ask my mom, to go to the store to get cleansing pads for my face. So I rode my bike by myself to the grocery store and disappeared for 3 hours. And when I got home, I had to hide the bag and lied about where I was. At 14, I was afraid that my own feelings for girls was starting to kick in high gear. I didn't know what to do with that because there has been no guidance or modeling around sex or sexuality in the church I grew up other than just leave girls alone, don't touch them, don't think about them, right? But I thought about them all the time. The girl I liked, every time Ghost Town DJ's My Boo came on, I thought about her. Every time at night, I snuggled my pillow as if I was spooning her, right? But I didn't have anywhere to say this stuff, and I was deathly afraid of telling her or talking to her. I was afraid of everything. And this obviously didn't stop as I got older, right? When we got married and we were babies, you probably know the story. We're 21 when we got married, in part because we both grew up in a conservative Christian purity culture paradigm, right? But I was deathly afraid. The thing I was most afraid of going into marriage was, what if I'm not good enough? I had been taught about love as being transactional. I thought that you could earn it. All these years later, it's not actually how it works. You can't earn somebody's love because love isn't transactional. So the thing I was afraid of was a valid fear, but there was nobody there to talk to me, to share wisdom or guidance, or just let me know that I was okay just as I was, right? So I think that that's what men are mostly afraid of. I think a lot of us truly don't know that we belong, that we are good enough. And so when people are bringing up valid criticisms or constructive feedback about what we can do, we take that as a threat if we have not yet told ourselves the truth first. And I say tell ourselves because that's the only person you really have to get through. There were people telling me the truth all the time, but because it was so important to me to have a particular view of myself, again, a lot of men think of themselves as providers and protectors. And if you're a provider and protector, how can you be afraid, right? Well, the reality is everybody's afraid. We're all afraid, right? And the best providers or protectors, if that's even what you want to be, are people who understand that, embrace it, and then look for solutions in the community, never in isolation.